Our guest tonight is actor, philanthropist, and former TV host Montel Williams.
He's also an executive producer for the new documentary Hate Among Us. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate having you. So you and Dean Cain are both executive producers on this film, and you both kind of come from different backgrounds. What perspectives do you both bring to this film?
Well, you know, we've been working on issues for human rights and for suffering around the world now for almost 8 years. Dean and I have been doing so together. We released a documentary a year ago that was called Architects of Denial, about the denial of the Armenian genocide, because we believe very strongly that a genocide denied is the reason why genocide continues. And the Armenian genocide took place in 1918, long before World War II. And Hitler said himself, when he was asked, how can we get away with the hatred that he started again in this century against Jewish people, he said, who remembers the Armenian? So he deliberately understood that the world wasn't paying attention to the fact that they were able to march 1.5 million Armenian people to their death. And now the world's not paying attention to, we look at most of the reports about the rise in anti-Semitism, people talk about it as if it's happened in the last year. Right. This has been going on now in America for the last 10 years. It's not a rise of just anti-Semitism, it's a rise in hate. That's what we have to address.
Well, we're glad you're here because we have one of the largest Jewish communities in the United States here in South Florida. Absolutely. And your film will make its premiere 2 weeks from tonight at the Miami Jewish Film Festival, right?
Yes, sir.
It documents the rise of anti-Semitism, not just in this country, but around the world. And we have some numbers we can put up. In the U.S., the Anti-Defamation League says there were more than 1,300 anti-Semitic incidents last year. Does your film reveal anything about the rise of anti-Semitism in this country?
We take a look at not only this country, but we look at Germany, we look at France, we're looking all around the world. And you know, even today in today's news, there's comments about what's going on online. The fact that right now there are people trolling to make sure that they can see if they can impact the way people feel and the way people think, and especially leading up through this election. It's going to get much worse. I hate to say it that way, and I'm not that doomsday person, but unless we step up together and start understanding that you hate one, you hate all.
Right.
You know, once you pick out one group, tomorrow it's a different group. So unless we all stand together, it didn't take one ethnic group in this country to get America to where it is today. It's going to take all of us trying to figure out how to get to tomorrow.
So you talk about just the history of anti-Semitism and hate crimes in general, but what do you think is driving this level of people being emboldened to carry out these crimes right now and to be open about them?
I think we've literally hit that point, and you know, as much as people want to blame one administration or blame the last 2 years, we take a look at when we pull these out of our pocket and the narcissistic way that we all behave. It's all about us thinking that we have the right to do and say whatever we want to do and say on this. And freedom of speech stops when you start to incite violent acts, or you start to ask and request people to do violent acts. We don't understand. You know, you can't walk into a movie theater and scream fire. Right. You go to jail. You can't scream across the street something in an ethnic or racial slur to see if you can get people to incite some sort of violent act. You can't do that. That's not freedom of speech. But we think because we have this now that we're free to do whatever we want. Right. And it's about time that we recognize that as much as this is going to be the future, this is also could be what puts us in the past.
And also that device right there magnifies so many wonderful and beautiful things, but also the ugly side of so much. I want to ask you, Montel, early last month, President Trump signed an executive order giving the federal government more tools to protect Jewish people from discrimination. How would you assess the government's response to the crisis?
I think Band-Aids aren't what's needed right now. Just the same way as we have a movement in the next 9 months, we're going to be screaming who's going to be the next president. How about we start screaming about how do we protect America? This country was built on the idea, as much as we think it's a melting pot, this is really a soup. You know, we have all these different ingredients that have come together that all actually do a significant amount to give us the flavor that we have. You know, you don't eat a soup and want to consummate it all down to blend it together. You want it to have a carrot and a potato, and so you can get a taste of all those different things that we enjoy. And we need to start, I think, acting like we want to have a democracy, if that's what we really want to have, and step up to the plate and do what's necessary. And movies like, I think, Hate Among Us is one that we deliberately did to see if we can incite a conversation. and a discussion and make people get outside of their comfort zone and say, enough is enough.
So this film is part of what's raising the alarm, but the $10 million question is, how do we reverse course, all of us, everyone watching out there, how do we reverse course before it's too late?
One of the greatest minds of the last century, that we recognize as one of the greatest minds in history, said the tragedy of man is what dies inside a person as he or she lives. I believe that was Albert Einstein. I believe that means that when you're born, as a baby laying there in a crib, it doesn't matter what color the person is that walks up to pick you up and give you a bottle. That baby reaches up and wants to be held, wants to be touched, wants to be nurtured, wants to be fed. As we live, we feed on other people's views and live down to their expectations by accepting hate as part of our character. Racism and hatred isn't something you're born with, it's something that's learned. And as equally and easily as it is to teach that, it's easy to teach respect for your fellow man. But we are not sending out enough teachers to teach that.
Yeah, we try to pride ourselves here in South Florida being such a diverse community, everybody respecting each other, but we're seeing a lot of these stories that are really making us think that we have to learn this lesson. We should watch this documentary, Hate Among Us. It'll premiere at the Jewish Film Festival,
yes,
correct?
Sir. It's on the 16th at 8:30.
How can people get more information besides if you can't make the film festival?
Well, you can go up on hateamongus.com and get download some information about it, where this thing does some good.
Plug right there from Mr. Montel Williams.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Sir. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you. And as we just mentioned, the Florida premiere of The Hate Among Us takes place Thursday, January 16th at the Miami Jewish Film Festival. You can find ticket information on the website, miamijewishfestival.org. Executive producers Montel Williams and Dean Cain will be in attendance to introduce the film and participate in a Q&A afterward.